In a future that feels disturbingly close, Earth has finally given out. The air is poisonous, the ground is dying. Humanity spent centuries turning away from every warning. Now, there is nothing left to fix. The only path forward is up. Thousands board the colossal Aniara, bound for Mars, carrying their grief and hope in equal measure. The Aniara is not what you picture. It's a floating city, with restaurants, shops, bars, and swimming pools. Families walk its wide corridors with light in their eyes. Leaving Earth is not a tragedy. It is a second chance. At the heart of this ship works Robin. The Mimaru, her role, oversee the Mima room, unlike anything else on board. Mima is not a simple machine. It defies explanation. It reaches into memory, pulling out the most beautiful things: the smell of rain on warm earth, the sound of wind through green trees, the feeling of sunlight on skin, on a ship of people who lost their world. Mima is healing. Robin keeps herself at a distance. But even she occasionally allows herself a moment inside, to remember breathing clean air. The trip to Mars is designed to last 3 weeks. 21 days, and a new life begins. But 1 hour after departure, the universe offers a very different plan. A field of space debris collides with the Aniara. The ship shudders violently. Alarms flood the control room. Pilots assess the damage in seconds. They reach a devastating conclusion: the engines are beyond saving. To prevent explosion, they release all fuel. In a single moment, the Aniara loses every ability to steer, slow down, or change direction. It becomes a drifting object. The captain addresses the passengers with a carefully controlled voice. "There has been an incident," he says. "The ship has lost its intended course, but there is no cause for alarm. In approximately 2 years, they will pass near enough to a planet that its gravitational pull can redirect the Aniara back toward Mars. 2 years, that is all. The passengers are frightened. But 2 years feels manageable. It is a long time, but it is something they can hold in their hands. What they cannot know is that the captain is lying." Robin shares her quarters with the ship's astronomer, a quiet and precise scientist. She spends her nights studying the deep universe through the Aniara's telescopes. One evening, Robin asks her the question she cannot stop thinking about: which planet is going to save them? The astronomer does not soften her answer. There is no planet. There is nothing in their trajectory that can bring this ship home. The captain knows this. He is managing people the only way he believes he can, by giving them a story that keeps them from falling apart. Robin lies in the dark after that conversation for a long time. Then she walks to one of the ship's great windows and looks out into the black. The stars are there, but they are impossibly distant, cold and indifferent. She feels her chest tighten. Her hands begin to shake. She is standing at the edge of a truth so enormous it threatens to swallow her whole. She runs to the Mima room and connects to it, and slowly, wrapped in borrowed memories of a world she will never see again, she finds her breath. The Mima room, once a quiet and optional comfort, transforms into something essential. People pour into it round the clock. They are no longer visiting for pleasure. They are coming out of desperation, out of need. It is the only thing standing between 10,000 people and complete psychological collapse. Robin requests additional staff from the captain. He listens, but during that same conversation he tells her something that closes like a fist round her chest. Food supplies are diminishing rapidly. The ship has begun cultivating algae as a food source. Soon it will be the primary thing keeping people alive, once the passengers have adjusted to that reality. The captain intends to finally tell them the full truth. The Aniara is not passing through space. It is their permanent home now. 3 years dissolve into the routine of survival. The ship drifts further into the dark. The algae begins to contaminate the water systems. People are weakening. Not just physically, but in every possible way. They flood into the Mima room in numbers that strain everything. Robin has also, in the quiet spaces between crises, grown close to one of the ship's pilots, a woman named Issel. Their relationship develops the way fire develops in cold weather. Slowly and with enormous care. To people choosing warmth in a place that offers very little of it. Meanwhile, the astronomer, never a warm presence, is becoming something darker. She finds Robin one evening and says something that lodges itself permanently in Robin's mind. Even if the Aniara could somehow travel millions of kilometers every single second, it would still feel like standing perfectly still. Space is not large in the way mountains or oceans are large. It is large in a way the human mind was never built to process. The ship is a grain of dust on an ocean that has no shore and no opposite shore and no bottom. Robin already understood they were lost. But hearing it spoken aloud like that gives the lostness a weight it did not have before. Then, one day, while Robin is resting inside the Mima room, something goes wrong with the memories. Birds appear and shatter mid-flight. Colors begin bleeding into each other like wet paint. The machine is showing the first signs of something deeply broken, before Robin can investigate. A group of passengers enters and connects. Within minutes their peaceful sessions twist into something nightmarish. She watches through her monitoring screen as each person is dragged into dark and terrifying visions. She shuts everything down and clears the room. The passengers are furious. They do not want explanations. They want Mima back. The captain summons Robin and demands the truth. She gives it to him. Mima is not a simple piece of technology. It has a capacity to feel, or something close to it. For years it has absorbed the fear, the grief, and the psychological trauma of thousands of human beings. It has been carrying all of that weight, and now it is breaking under it. It has even begun producing language, not machine code, but fragmented human words. Robin tells him it needs to be shut down for at least a week to have any chance of recovery. The captain refuses without hesitation. Mima is the psychological infrastructure of the entire ship. Removing it, even temporarily, will cause a collapse he cannot manage. Robin has no choice but to restart it. The moment Mima comes back online, it begins to scream. It cries out in a voice that sounds like something between grief and fury. It mourns the things humanity erased without a second thought. The forests, the skies, the creatures, all the parts of Earth that were consumed and discarded. And then, in a voice that silences every person in that room, it says something that none of them will ever unhear. Everything in the world could be escaped. It says, but never humanity. Then the explosion. Mima destroys itself completely. The room goes dark. The machine that had kept 10,000 people tethered to their sanity and their memories is simply gone. The captain does not turn inward after this. He turns outward, and he points at Robin. But Issel refuses to allow it. She stands in front of him and says plainly what everyone in that room already knows. His refusal to listen cost this. His certainty that he always knew better cost them the only thing that was holding people together. The captain does not want to hear it. Issel strikes him out of anger and runs. Robin is seized in a corridor by guards and beaten before being locked in a cell. Issel is arrested as well. 4 years have now passed since the accident. The Aniara is no longer a city. It is something harder to name. Without Mima, people have nothing to anchor them. Some have formed cults, gathering at windows to worship the distant stars. Almost 40 people are dying by their own hand every single month, including members of the crew. The chief engineer takes his own life. The captain begins reorganizing the remaining people to fill positions that the dead have left behind. Robin is released from prison and assigned to teach children. Issel is returned to logistics. Deep in the void, the Aniara drifts, no longer a vessel of hope, but a prison of despair. Logic has faded, replaced by whispers of cults, fear the very architecture of their existence. Amidst the crushing weight, a spark of defiance ignites. Issel chooses life, an act against the void. A silent promise of a future, nurtured in secret. Robin dreams of green fields, open skies, a world beyond the steel walls. She presents her vision, a simulated hope, to the ship's stern captain. But hope is dismissed. Education prioritized over the yearning for a light. Then, a miracle, new life emerges. A fragile beacon in the darkness. A newborn's cry echoes, a tiny hand grasping for existence. Simultaneously, a distant signal. The astronomer spots a probe tanker. A fragile hope ignites, a chance for return. Announced by the captain, the ship buzzes with frantic preparations. A desperate plan unfolds. Grappling hooks extend. Young crew members falter under immense pressure. Issel, in the control room, counts down. The critical moment approaches. The pulse fires. The tanker decelerates. Grappling hooks catch their target. Passengers brace for impact, lying flat in their cabins. Holding their breath, the inspection team breaches the tanker, revealing only incomprehensible technology. Hope drains from their faces. The tanker is empty. A cruel deception. The astronomer, distraught, confronts the captain with the crushing truth. A quick, brutal shot. The captain silences her. Raising a weapon, her body released into the vast, black space, a chilling testament to despair. Grief, heavier than before, settles upon the ship, a silent, suffocating shroud. The Aniara continues its endless drift, a monument to lost hope, a testament to human fragility. Then the ship passes through a pink nebula that is beautiful from a distance. Thousands of small rocks begin striking the hull at bullet speed. Walls crack, vacuum tears through multiple sections. Hundreds of passengers die within minutes, in the middle of this chaos. Robin is in the old Mima room with two of her students. Without permission, she is building the screens she was told to abandon. When they power them on, they work. The black outside the windows disappears, replaced by soft, glowing images of forests, rivers, and open sky. Robin runs to share this with Issel. She opens the door to their room and stops. Issel has taken home life. In the bathroom, their small boy is floating in the water. Gone too. Issel saw the slow madness coming, and she made a choice. She chose for both of them. 10 years have now passed since the Aniara drifted off course. A few dozen survivors sit in the main hall. A man stands on stage wearing headphones, listening to silence, which the remaining people have collectively decided is the voice of the long-dead Mima. They applaud him. Not because it means anything, because they need it too. The captain calls Robin forward and presents her with a medal for the beam screens, speaking as though he had supported the idea from the beginning. Robin accepts it with a face that holds nothing. Back in her room, she drops it on the floor and lies down alone. 24 years after the accident, the Aniara has gone nearly quiet. Most of the people are dead. The few who remain sit in darkened rooms performing rituals that stopped meaning anything long ago. The oxygen is almost completely gone. But the ship does not stop. It keeps moving, the way it always has, indifferent to everything inside it. 5.981 million years later, the Aniara arrives. It has traveled all the way to the Lyra system. And there, in front of its silent windows, a planet appears that looks almost exactly like Earth. Blue oceans, green land, open skies. Everything the passengers wept for inside the Mimo room. Everything they dreamed about in the darkest years of their lives is right there, outside the glass. But there is no one left to see it. The ship is full of silence and dust. The people who left a dying world in search of a new one never arrived. The Aniara found its destination. The destination found no one.